First thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to go to this website. Once you're on the website, you need to select math as your subject. Okay. Once you have done selecting maths, this you select your grade level. This is the grade 1 maths lesson. The topic for today is subtraction. Okay. And the chapter number is, let me give you the chapter number and the lesson number. Chapter number 5 and lesson number 8. So the chapter for today is chapter number 5 and lesson number 8. The name of the lesson is subtract one digit number from two-digit number. Okay, let's see what digits are. Okay, first we will see what digits are. Welcome to the class. Okay, we go to grade 1, chapter 5, lesson number 8, and before starting we'll see what digits are. So if we want to see what digits are, I can say a number 23, right? This is a two-digit number. The first place is for the, okay, we'll write this as ones. 3 is on the ones position, whereas the 2 was in the tens position, right? This is a two-digit number. But when we say one-digit number, okay, so this would only have 6 over here. 6 would be in the ones, agreed, which can also be written as 0 in the tens, right? But we don't write 0 usually. So what we would say is there would be only 6 ones. Okay, do we agree? So we don't have to write 0 over there. Whenever it's a one-digit number, this would be a one-digit number which has only ones, and this is a two-digit number. Okay, so now we know the difference between one digit and two digits. Okay, so we don't write this initial part. We don't write 0 tens. We simply write 6 ones. Okay, so the first question we have is, hi students, welcome to the class. The first question says, I'll just copy that, then I'll explain. So the question number 1 says subtract. This is our question number 1. It says 6, that is 16 minus 4. So once we have 16 minus 4, what we can say is this position, these numbers would be our ones and these numbers would be our tens. Do we agree? Okay, so we can say these numbers were tens and these numbers were ones. Ones are also known as units. Okay, some people use ones, some people might use units as the word over there. So let's subtract this. What is 6? First we subtract the ones. 6 minus 4. If we need to do 6 minus 4, what we can say is we can write the number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We subtract 4. We are left with a 2. So 6 minus 4 was a 2. Okay. And 1 was subtracting. There was nothing below 1, right? In the tens, we see there is 1 only, and below 1 there is nothing. So 1 minus nothing will stay as a 1. That means 12 is the answer. When 16 minus 4, 12 is the remaining answer. Okay, do we agree? Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, so, and in subtraction we can also use the word, I'll use another statement. Okay, the difference of 16 and 4 is 12. Okay, the answer can be used, can be given in a term or in a statement also. We are trying to subtract. Whenever we are trying to subtract, we are trying to find the difference. Okay, moving ahead with the next question. The next question says subtract 14 minus 3. Okay, let's see what we can do in question number 2. So if this is our question number 2, and what we need to do is we need to subtract 14 minus 3. Okay, I'll just resize. Let's put it in a box so that this is our given information, which is not part of the questions. Okay, so if we need to subtract 14 minus 3, we need to look at the ones. These were the ones. The innermost numbers are the ones, and this was tens. So when we do 4 minus 3, 4 minus 3 would be, we know that it is 1. And this was, tens was a 1. 1 minus nothing over here. This is a 0, right? When nothing is there, 0 is there. So 1 minus 0 would be, 1 minus nothing would be 1. So we can say the difference of 14 and 3 is 11. Can we say that? Do we agree? Okay, thank you so much. For the next question, question number 3. This was question number 2. Let's see what we can do in question number 3. We need to subtract 12 minus 1. I'll just move it over here. For question number 3, if we need to subtract 12 minus 1, okay, let's write this. This is our question number 3. We just need to remember which value is for ones and which set of values are for tens. Okay. So once we subtract the ones, what is 2 minus 1? 2 minus 1. When we are subtracting the ones, we are just looking at these two values. 2 minus 1 would be 1. Agreed? And since this was 1/10, it comes down as it is, 1. So we can say the difference between of or between 12 and 1 is 11. Agreed? Okay, moving ahead to the next question. Let's try to take a bigger number. So the next question says subtract 18 minus 6. Let's say question number 4. And the question says, sorry, 18 minus 6. Okay. This is our question number 4. So if we need to subtract 6 from 18, okay, what we can say is these are the ones, whereas these would be the tens. So we subtract the ones first. 8 minus 6 would be, what should be 8 minus 6? We know that 8, after 6, if we start counting 6, then we can say 7 and 8. We can only count two numbers, right? So 8 minus 6 was 2. And in the tens position, it was a simple 1. So we write 1 as it is. So we can say the difference between 18 and 6 is 12. Okay? Do we agree? Okay, let's try to prove this question, okay? So in question number 4, if I would say there were 18 circles. Let's suppose there were 18. I'll just make a few, then I'll just make a copy of them. Okay. If I would make 3, okay, I'll make copies. So we're just trying to prove that our answers are correct, okay? This is 9. 9 plus 3, 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18, right? Let's try to number them. If we would want to number them, can we write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to prove, okay? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So we know that the total circles were 18. Out of the 18, we had to subtract 6. So if we are subtracting 6, we remove 6 from the largest number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we remove 6. So what is the largest number that we have left? The largest number as the answer would be 12, which we can verify over here. 12 is the greatest value that is left. Agreed? So once we are doing 2-digit numbers and 1-digit numbers, we can also do it through the shapes, or simply we do the ones first. Okay, we subtract the ones first, then we subtract the tens. Do we agree? Okay, let's move ahead to question number 5. Okay. The next question says subtract 15 minus 1. Okay. Right now, what we are looking at is the number at the top, right? That is a larger number would always, for now, but it is possible that it could be 11 minus 5, right? Other way also. So when we look at this question, can we say that we have the ones and we have the tens? Agreed? So can I say, I'll just simply copy this. Okay. Which one are the ones? We can say 5 was the ones and this was the tens. So when we subtract the ones, that means 5 minus 1, and we know that 5 minus 1 is 4, agreed, and the 1 comes as it is. That means we can say the difference of 15 and 1 is 14, okay, or we can say 15 minus 1 would be equals to 14, right? And previously we did the negative sentences, right? So 15 minus 1 was 14, or we can say so what we are looking at is the previous information that we did, right? So we in the previous topics we look at the negative statements, right? So what we can say over here is we are not we are not being asked for this, but this is just a revision of additional information, right? So these were the negative sentences, right? Let's move ahead to the next question. So the question number 6 says, the next question says, oh, the next question is what we just discussed. I said it could be 15 minus 1, or it could have been 15 minus 4, right? So the next question we have is 15 minus 4. And it says subtract 15 minus 4, right? So what we can do over here is, if this is a question number 6, we know we need to subtract the ones first, and we know that these two numbers are the ones. So 5, whenever we are subtracting 2-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers, 4-digit numbers, right? They could be bigger numbers, right? In thousands also. So we would always first subtract the ones. We cannot start from the first digit. In this case, the first digit is 1. That's the tens, right? That shows that the value is in tens, okay? But what we start the subtraction from is the ones, the last number, okay? 5 minus 4 would be a 1, agreed? And since there was nothing in tens, the 1 in tens comes as it is. So we can write the answer as 15 minus 4 was equals to 11. Agreed? We can give either of this. We can give this statement as well, that the difference of the numbers 15 and 4 is 11, right? Or we can give the negative sentences, right? Whatever they're asking us to do in the question, we would try to fill up those requirements. Okay, let's have a look at the next example. Okay, so the next question says subtract 18 minus 8. Okay, let's suppose if this is a question given to us. Okay, let's change the number from 18 to a bigger number. Okay, let's suppose if I would make this 18 as 48. Okay, this is our question number 7. So if the question says 48 minus 8, let's see what we can do over here. We know that in the ones position, in the ones, if these were the ones, right? This is 8 minus 8. Whenever we subtract a number from the same number, let's suppose 8 minus 8 would mean if you had 8 candies, you gave away the 8 candies, you are left with 0, right? That means 8 minus 8 was a 0, and 4 was in the tens position, right? So 4 minus nothing, that means 4 comes as it is. Agreed? This is still a two-digit number, right? Because it has a tens and it has a ones. So we can say, let's write the statement, 48 minus 8 would be equals to 40. Okay? Okay. Let's move ahead. Let's look at the next example. Okay. If it says 13 minus 2, that means subtract 2 from the 13. So this next question says subtract 2 from 13. So we have question number 8, and we have a tens and we have a units, right? The first thing we do is we solve the ones, and we know that 3 minus 2 should be 3 minus 2 should be, if you have 3, you subtract 2, you're left with 1. Okay, and in the tens it was 1, which is not subtracting anything, so this 1 comes as it is. So we can say the difference of 13 and 2 is 11, right? We can write an equation, we can give a statement, we can give a negative sentence, right? There are multiple ways to prove that our answer is correct. Okay, so do we have any questions up till now? Okay, no questions. Thank you. Let's move ahead. The next question, question number 9, says subtract. Move ahead to question number 9. And the question number 9 says subtract 12 minus 2. Okay, so this is our question number 9. And whenever, okay, I can say this question in a different words, right? So if, let's suppose, someone bought a dozen oranges, okay, let's change the question in a statement. Let's suppose Max bought a dozen oranges. He ate 2. How many oranges are remaining or are left? Okay, so if this question was given in words, like a word problem, okay, sometimes we were using different numbers, right? But specifically we have a different number over here. So we need to remember that a dozen would always be equals to 12, right? So if they are giving us a word problem, they can use the word dozen also, right? So we need to remember is a dozen would always be 12. Since we were doing a question which had a 12 in it, I just wanted to explain what a 12 can be written as. It can be given to us as a dozen also. So in this case, if I can say a dozen minus 2, what would be a dozen minus 2? Since you know a dozen was a 12, so I would not need to tell, or you need not, you would already know that it should be 12 minus 2. Okay, so we can say ones was there, Agreed? If ones was there, and what else do we have? That means 2 minus 2 would be 0, and the tens was a single digit, right? So it comes down as it is. So how many oranges are left? 10 oranges are remaining. Agreed? So rather than saying a 12, they can use specific terms, right? Okay, let's move ahead and let's look at the next question. So the next question we have is, it says 18 minus 2. Okay. Subtract 18 minus 2. Okay. These are still easy. I would start making them difficult. Okay. Because we would start carrying in the next. Okay. From the next question, I'll try to make it a little difficult. Okay. What values we have for ones? We have 8 and 2. 8 minus 2 would be 6. Agreed? And what we can do is, in the tens, we had a 1. So this 1 comes down as it is. So we can say, we'll write a statement, 18 minus 2 is equals to 16. Okay? But if I would want to make this question a little difficult, right? If I say, I'll just change the numbers. From this point onwards, I'm trying to make the questions more interesting and more difficult, okay? From question number 11, okay? Rather than saying this was, I swap their places. I say it is 12 minus 8, right? Okay, let's do it through the diagrams first. If I have 12 circles, okay? Let's say if I have 12 circles, can I say this would be 2 circles? 3, okay? Let's make a copy of this. 3. First, I'll do it through the circles, then we'll do it through the workings, okay? If there were 12 circles in total, we can number them. We can say this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? And how many were we subtracting? We were subtracting 8. We were subtracting 8 from 12, right? So we can simply say we cancel out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If we cancel out 8, what is the largest number that should remain? That means 4 is the remaining, right? But when we see over here, okay, when we look at this question, okay, so what we can see is, once we are looking at the ones over here, okay, the upper number, the number at the top is 2. Agreed? This was 2, which is less than the number at the bottom. This was 8. Agreed? So what we have to do is, we have to suppose this entire number as a single number. Now what we'll say is, if this ones, the number in the ones, okay, was smaller at the top, right? So we select this number as a total number, okay, and 12 minus 8 would be, we cannot do 2 minus 8, but if this number was 12 minus 8, right? Now we need to do 12 minus 8, and we know that the answer would be 4. I'll give you more examples, okay? So we can say 12 minus 8 was 4, okay? Let's look at some similar examples. Okay. If I would say, okay, if for the next question, if I say, it says, let me just copy this for the next question. The next question we have, it says 18 minus 1. I'll try to change this. Okay. I'll take different numbers over here. Let's suppose if I say this was 11. Okay, let's leave this as 11 minus 5. Okay, we know that we can solve this because 11 is a bigger number. But the only problem we have is when we are subtracting from ones. If this value was ones over here, we know that 1 is smaller than 5. So we cannot subtract 5 from 1. Agreed? So in this case, what we do is, sorry, this would be tens. I just wrote ones. This should be tens, right? So what we do is, we consider this number as a whole. Okay, we cannot break it ones or tens, right? So what we do is, we say 11 minus 5. And the easiest way to do is, we write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We subtract 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are left with a 6. Okay? Because in the 11, the ones position is smaller than the number below it. That was 5. So we consider it as a whole. We cannot do ones minus 1 and tens minus 10. So what we can do is 11 minus 6 as a whole would be 11 minus 5 as a whole should be 6. Okay? Let's have a look at some more questions. Okay. If I would say, for the next question, it says subtract 13 minus 13. Okay. See, what we are trying to look over here is the difference. In the next question, the units position is exactly the same, right, for both the numbers. So we can still solve this directly. In question number 13, what we can say is, since the ones positions are same, we can solve them. We know that 3 minus 3 is possible. But for the previous question, we know that 1 minus 5 was impossible, right? So that's why we considered 11 as a whole number, 11 minus 5 in the previous question. But in question number 13, we know that 13 minus 13 is possible. 13 minus 13 would be a 0. And in the tens over here, we had a 1. And 1 comes down as it is. So we can say 13 minus 3 would be equals to 10. Or the difference between 13 and 3 is 10. Agreed? Let's do one more example. Sorry. let's say the next question says 15 minus 3. So if we have subtract 15 minus 3, we can say this for question number 14. This is the ones position, and we know that 5 is greater than 3. Then the subtraction is possible. Okay, so we can say if we need to subtract 5 minus 3 should be 2, and this was tens. There's a single number in tens, it should come out to be 1. So we can say the difference between 15 and 3 is 12. Agreed? Okay. Any questions up till now? Do we have any questions? What we looked in these cases was that in question number 12, in the ones position, 1 was smaller than 5. Therefore, we considered as it as a whole number, right? In the second case, question number 13, the ones were equal. That we can do directly, right? In the third question, that is question number 14, the ones at the top, that is 15, the two-digit number. 5 is greater than the ones in the smaller number, that is 3. So we can simply directly simplify, okay? So let's try some questions from the test. And let's see what are the possible answers. Okay, let's begin with the test. Just a moment, please. I'll copy down the first question. And they're saying 13 minus 2. Okay, let's move ahead. If I say this is the first question from the test, this is question number 1 from the test. Let's do it together, and the remaining questions you can always complete at home, okay? The question says 13 minus 2. So if we need to subtract 2 from 13, what should be the answer? We know that this is 13, right? And we have 4 options. So what option should be correct? Should the difference be 11? Should the difference be 15? Should the difference be 10? Or should the difference be 12, right? Can we pick one answer out of these? What are the possibilities? Yes, right. Thank you. 11 is the correct answer. How? 3 minus 2 was 1. And this one comes as it is. Agreed? Thank you. Moving ahead to the next question. The next question says, subtract 18 minus 8. Let me just copy the question. Okay. The question number 2 from the test says, subtract 18 minus 8. This is our question number 2. So what should be the answer? The given options are 10, 11, 18, and 26. We know that it cannot be 26. Why? Because we are doing subtraction. We are not doing addition. So the answer cannot be greater than 18. So we already know that it cannot be this. It cannot be 18 because we are subtracting something from 18, right? So what should be the correct answer? 18 minus 8 should be equals to 18 minus 8 should be equals to, yes, thank you. It should be 10, right? Thank you. This was 0 and this was 1. Okay. So what we are doing is we are subtracting a single digit number from two digit numbers. Okay. Let's have a look at the next question. Question number 3. And the question number 3 states that subtract 14 minus 3. Let me just put the question on the screen. That is the third question from the test. Question number 3 from the test. Sorry. This is our question number 3. And what are the possible answers? The possible given answers are 12, 10, 11, and 17. We know that 17 is not possible. Why? Because 17 would mean we are adding them together. But we need to do subtraction. What we can always do is we try to cancel out the incorrect answers. So what is 14 minus 3? 4 minus 3 would be something and 1 comes down as it is for the tens position. The tens will come down as it is, right? How about the ones? 4 minus 3. Yes, it is 11. Thank you. Okay. This was 11. Moving ahead to the next question. The next question says, subtract 12 minus 2. Okay. If we need to find what is 12 minus 2, what should be 12 minus 2? This is a test, therefore, yes. Thank you, May. And 12 minus 2 should be? Twelve subtracts a 2, it should be equals to? Yes, thank you. It should be 10, right? Because this is 0 and this is 1. Let's have a look at another question. The next question says, subtract 17 minus 1. Whenever we know the rule that whenever we are subtracting a 1 from any number, we just need to go to the number before it, prior to it, right? That would be easy. So question number 5 says, subtract these numbers, 17 minus 1. What should be 17 minus 1? Yes, thank you, Alibai. That was 17 minus 1 should be, we can simply say 7 minus 1 is 7 minus 1 is, out of these four options, yes, thank you, Aruba. We know that 7 minus 1 was 6. Your answer is correct. You said it's 16. It's perfectly correct, right? So please do complete the remaining question. There are just 15 questions, okay? And I'll see you again in the next class. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.